Coach.
After having a chance to, evaluate the film, I think the thing that stuck out for us is, and we've said it, from day one, and not only in building our program, but, with this in particular, team and season, the strength of our team is going to be our team, but like anything else in basketball or life, it can also be your greatest weakness, and it was our greatest weakness, in the Furman game. We did not play as a team in the way that we played, and I think that it'll be a great learning experience for this group to understand what makes us good. When we went on the road and won in a difficult environment against a talented team at Western Kentucky, when we beat an ACC team at home, and we beat a preseason conference pick and Wofford, NCAA tournament team, veteran crew. It was really, I don't know that we played great, but we defended and we played as a team, and that didn't happen on Wednesday, and so I think that's something that we'll learn from, and something that will need to be a focus for us in addition to whatever basketball things need to take place. But we're going to be at our best when that happens, and we're going to be, as we found out, just average. But I think that's true for every team in the country. I don't think there's a lot of teams that are just rolling guys out and beating other good teams, and so I think that it's something that will definitely be better for moving forward.
See a better performance coming tomorrow night out of your team?
Well, again, I think that's something that you still have to go out and do it. I thought consecutively, in terms of our focus and our effort and our energy on defense and rebounding heading into the game last week was as good as we had. But you still got to go out and do it in the games, and that's what didn't happen. And as it started going south, it got worse and worse. And so to sit here and say, oh yeah, we're going to do that tomorrow, well, we got to show up and do that tomorrow. That's kind of part of what I think it is that we're trying to learn.
And what about getting your bench more involved? It seemed like in the first 6 games you were getting more production out of them than you have in the past 4 games.
Well, again, I think we've gotten away from guys being able to do that. To play in a way that is going to help us. In that area. Again, we don't have, a collection of 5, standout guys. On any given night, one of those guys is going for 25 points. But again, I don't know that anybody in the country really has that, and so everybody's got to do what they can do, and the team has to play well collectively, I think, for individuals to be able to produce better for us.
How much of a break did you give the guys, and how soon do they get their timing back and that kind of stuff during Christmas?
Well, we were off till Sunday night, so by college basketball standards, pretty healthy break, and it takes them a little bit to kind of get back into it and kind of run the break out of them, so to speak, and get out there and play and get up and down. But we've obviously had enough time and preparation, for a game tomorrow.
I don't know if tangible is the right word for playing as a team, but things like shooting, rebounding, it's easier to kind of put your finger on right out of the gate. Can you see that as a team thing in the beginning of a game, or is it just something that falls apart? Is it something you could tell from the get-go it's not working tonight?
I think defensively is where it shows up the most. I think that again, you go back and consider, the games against good opponents that we have won. I don't know that we were perfect. I don't know that we're taking those films and putting them on our defensive, clinic, video. But, man, we played hard, and, man, we covered up for each other, and, man, we flew around, and, man, the bench did come in and raise our level. And so, I think that, we the other night in particular, we kind of saw it kind of start to wane on us when, they got a couple easy buckets, and then they led it to a few more. And then it was about, well, maybe we'll try to outscore these guys. And, honestly, we're not really interested in doing that and not going to be great at it. And so, I think that, the focus has to be on those things. But again, I think they'll come when the focus is team.
Is this another time where you've got to, I guess, challenge Sam to step up and be kind of, not necessarily the focal point of the offense, but the guy that kind of makes things happen? Or do you leave it to him and say, Sam, you're a senior, you've got to do it on your own?
Well, I think he knows that. I don't think we'll see that from Sam Muldrow again. I think he understands that. I think he got caught up in the flow of how it was going as a whole the other night. And again, when he's focused on being a dominant presence because he's playing to win, and that's what our team needs, he's as good as there is at it. And again, we saw that. And considering those games that I mentioned before. I don't know that he was great in terms of his you know, his moves or his, you know, perfection and defensively, but man, he just went after every rebound and he tried to block every shot and he tried to finish everything he got his hands on around the basket. And so, you know, I think that, you know, whether it's a senior that's, you know, very crucial to our success or anybody else that's playing, you know, I think that, you know, the focus on that is important.
When things aren't working on the inside, what would you like to see happen? What would you like to have seen, I guess, happen maybe earlier in the first half or in the second half against Furman when clearly things weren't going your way inside?
I mean, I'd like to see us guard better. You know, I mean, the issue is, you know, their big guys caught it inside and turned and scored over ours like they weren't there. You know, we played the best big man in the country, arguably, first team All-American, going to be lottery pick. And after watching the film, he only scored one time over our guys. You know, everything else was, you know, a different kind of basket. And yet, you know, the other night they're throwing it into whoever they want and scoring on us. So, you know, again, I think the one kind of creates the other, you know, a little bit. And, you know, when the mindset is focused on doing what, you know, what the team needs and defending and rebounding, you know, I don't know. It seems like those guys do finish better around the basket.
With that in mind, where's
in particular, what do they pose?
You know, athletic, very, you know, James Green, very physically, you know, tough defensive team, going to get after you. You know, going to create some matchup issues for us because they play small and a lot of guys drive the basketball. And you know, so we're going to have to be ready to, you know, all five guys to sit down and defend, I think.
where is DeMontre Harris in his development at this point, heading, I guess, into the end of December?
Yeah, I think he continues to make progress, you know, and I think he's a guy that, you know, when we look at actual production we're getting from guys that, you know, we want to produce or think can, you know, maybe he's a guy that, you know, can, if we throw him out there a little bit more, can actually do a lot. You know, I mean, from a per minute played standpoint, he's been about as productive as anybody that we've had. And, you know, he's a freshman and still learning quite a bit. But I think that, you know, he's going to be a guy that's going to continue to get better and continue to help produce for us. And we probably need him to.
Everybody healthy? Any changes at all in rotation or lineup?
Yeah, you know, I mean, we're healthy. I don't know if we'll have any changes or not. We still got another day of practice, you know, before we head into Wednesday's game. You know, we're healthy and ready to go. I just think, you know, we collectively, regardless of lineups and minutes, you know, we've got to be ready to play team basketball on both ends of the floor. And you know, we're really play like we want to play. You know, I think the disappointing thing is, you know, again, when you're building a winning program and a winning culture, it's like there's this idea that, well, it's not acceptable to lose to an in-state school that's not a high major. It's not acceptable to lose to anybody at all, period. You know, especially if you don't play the way you're capable of playing. You go out and play great team ball and guys fight and claw and scratch, and, you know, maybe it came down to a shot or a free throw or a call or whatever. You know, that's, you know, you can maybe learn to live with that. It's never acceptable, but, you know, it's never acceptable not to play good team basketball. We didn't play South Carolina basketball. It's really that simple. You know, the key is we got to learn from it and move on. I mean, I think if we were going to be honest about it, and in no way, shape, or form does this, you know, make everything okay or whatever, but, you know, from a perspective standpoint, anybody that said we'd have been sitting here 7-3 and had a couple of the wins we had, I think would probably be a little bit surprised by that. So, considering, you know, what we've been able to do in some positives, we'll learn from a negative, and I think we'll go out. We'll keep getting better.
Coach, with that in mind, a lot of analysts have said you, in a way, you're almost kind of crazy on these road trips to Wofford and going to Furman. These are hornets' nest games for a club like yours. Is that? I mean, I don't know what your response to be would be to that, but those are really tough games you put on the schedule last year at Wofford, this year at Furman.
Yeah, I mean, they are tough games, and I think, you know, in basketball, we know that, you know, and, you know, that's a team after playing them. And, again, not to take anything away, they're a good basketball team. They've got a chance to compete for a championship in their league. They've got veteran guys. They've got seniors. Obviously, it's always a big game when the state school goes into that type of environment. You know, some of the scheduling, in all honesty, was because we didn't have a choice. You know, we inherited, you know, needed to get so many games late and had to do some 2-for-1s and that type of thing. You know, I've joked with Coach Crimmins before, you know, had we had that game and he not been a Gamecock, there's no way we're going to Charleston to play, you know. So, but that being said, you know, great test for our team, and, you know, I think we learned a lot, and you know, and if you win, you learn a lot from that as well. And so, you know, again, you know, moving forward, it's one game, and, you know, the important thing is we've got to get better.
Thanks, guys.
I would also think that also wouldn't hurt your RPI